Welcome back to International Relations Lectures. This is Sophia Barkett. I'm looking at the second part of statecraft, or rather focusing on tools of statecraft. The chapter 5 goes over. Take a look at the chapter 5 of Mingst and McKibben, okay? You see that there are particular topics that the authors want you to focus on. One is types of power. And they articulate how realists might think about power, okay? Power has to do with military strength, economic strength, the ability to use these to influence other states and actors on international issues, right? So basically, power is about controlling outcomes. They mention this on page 143. And there's an entire discussion on the natural sources of power. It has to do with geographic size, the position of the state, its population, the type of terrain, and natural resources, okay? So just take a look at this section as well. You also have a distinction being made between hard and soft power. What are the kinds of power that a state can exert? Hard power has to do with violence, right? Making threats, imposing sanctions, any use of force. So once you make those threats, you have to back it up, right? So the will to actually use that power. And soft power is about using diplomacy, using aid, trade, investment, the promise of, cultural exchange, all kinds of things. As far as decision-making models, the realists propose that they have a rational model. They want to come across as very informed people. So the state, again, is unitary, but has clear goals, has clear policies, and is able to do a cost-benefit analysis and select the best outcomes, right? But here you see that the rational model is actually not very rational, and critiques point out that the state or anyone for that matter never has perfect information, right? So is it able to make the best decisions? It's not. And it doesn't also then know what is the best as far as cost and benefits are considered, right? So there's always argument for better models. Constructivists actually focus more on the ideology of the state, right? How does ideology, political ideology, impact who the state's going to be friends with or enemies with? They also shed sort of focus on the fact that political elites determine ideology and these relationships, regular people who are, make up the population of the country don't have much of a choice on issues of foreign policy. Also, the other interest for constructivism might be to shed light on the fact that social values change, and so do ideologies. So if you really want to understand what the state is doing, perhaps also look at what the social movements are, because people have to be reelected, right? So they have to pay attention to what the demographic changes and cultural changes are happening. So I'm going to wrap it up here, and we'll see you next week in the other sections.